Now, I've said this once and I'll say it again, but 2023 was by far one of the worst years for the Walt Disney Company, arguably the worst performance when it comes down to Bob Iger as the Disney CEO. If you really want to go through this year, they've had quite a number of failures, especially when it comes to Disney Star Wars with the Acolyte ratings disaster, the recent ABC ratings dipping massively, especially impacting those programs like The View, for example, Good Morning America, Jimmy Kimmel Live, and among others. Bob Iger is really not having a good 2024 at all, and not Joy Behar as well. And there's a lot more to talk about when it comes down to Joy Behar and her overall response toward the general public after she got fired from a major studio. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So here we are, it is the last couple of days of October, and as we roll into November and December and really, take in the remaining months of this year, there's been a lot of things going on with the Walt Disney Company, HBO, Universal, and among other studios within the Hollywood bubble. And ever since we talked about how Joy Behar got thrown out by HBO, her comedy special Bring Back the Joy got axed, she was fired and removed from HBO entirely. There's no future for her there, as she actually is desperately trying to expand her career, since, by the way, the View's ratings are just dipping week by week. She wants to go back to her comedic roots, and for those of you that do not know this, she does have a history of being a stand-up comedian. I know, it sounds crazy, but what's interesting here has a lot more to do with her overall stance on what happened in recent days. Now, with the Walt Disney Company already dealing with their recent ABC ratings disaster behind the scenes, one major development now has more to do with Joy Behar and what she had to deliver after she was fired and removed from HBO and her comedy special called Bring Back the Joy was axed behind closed doors. Joy delivered the following, seemingly taking her anger out on the public. Well, look, as a woman, I can see now that in this business we are all treated unfairly of all ages. Now that I'm in my 80s, I can confirm with everyone that though all the studios I have worked with, there has been and always will be a favoritability to men. Whether it's actors, comedians, or talk show hosts, doesn't matter. It's a disgusting world and business that we have to live in, and we always get the bad rap or the short end of the stick. I think both Whoopi and Sunny will agree with me on that front, and with me wholeheartedly on that point. But I have worked with and conversed with so many studios in recent times, really trying to experiment with broadening my horizons with my career, and let's just say it's been troublesome, to say the least. It's been very unequal and unfair and just outright wrong, especially living in 2024. This is the 2020s after all, and you would think some of these executives would have an open mind of the material or talking points that you would like to work with on certain projects, shows, or films, whatever, that you are trying to work out. But it always goes back to being a woman. I think that in this industry, that's never going to go away. That's stigma, and just how hard it is to be a woman in this industry, and I share my concern to all of those young working women in this industry to hang in there. You are always going to have this toxic side of the country, and we all know that side and who they are loyal to. They will never accept female representation and are outright frightened of that ever becoming the norm in entertainment. It's just something that you have to deal with, I guess, but you can't help yourself to call it out. You need to address the problem, the elephant in the room, It's about time change is applied to this industry in 2024. So guys, let me just stop here before I go on about what Joy is spewing yet again. As always, Joy Behar is showing her self-absorbed personality and just how insane she truly is. Now, I've said this many times, The View, I'm still shocked to this very day that it even has an audience, that it's still on live television, that it still airs, day by day throughout the entire week. And regardless of what's been happening in September and in this month about how the ratings have been slowly and progressively worsening over time and how that's creating a lot of panic For those like Sunny, Whoopi Goldberg, and Joy Behar, more prominently catered to Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar, they seem to have a very big problem with their egos when it comes down to their careers and how they're trying to really expand that with their comedic roots. So, I don't know if you guys knew this, but both Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar have stand-up comedy roots. They have a history with that, and they're trying to reignite that. They are trying to basically create a comeback with a stand-up comedy special through whatever studio may accept that actual role. Now, this is where it begins to get very interesting. Now, we already talked about this a couple of days ago about how the HBO executives had a very big problem with Joy Behar's 45 extra minutes of material on top of the already accepted 1-hour comedy special that is now canceled. She wanted to make it longer, and they were deeply offended by the material that she came up with that was 45 extra minutes, by the way, that was going to really just spew a lot of offensive jokes and offensive comments toward a specific individual. I think that we all know exactly who she's talking about. Now, on top of this, she goes on to conclude, and as a comedian and as an actor, I can see right here, honestly, to everyone, that not everyone is going to agree with the material that you present. That's my goal right now, to go back to my roots as a comedian, and it's been tough working with some studios, but I will keep all my beloved loyal followers posted on where and when something will happen for me in that field. I think it's going to be a tough, challenging, and hopefully in the end, fulfilling journey once I am able to make that happen, but so far I haven't had that much success. There is just too much misogyny and sexism in this industry, whether it's comedy, film, or television, it's everywhere, and I really hope we get somebody in to change all of that and how society functions and works. Just something needs to be done already. It's about time for change as it is. Do you guys not realize how it sounds like she's coming across as somebody trying to orchestrate everything and how a society really functions by saying how it's about time society changes or how society functions? Goes to show you how crazy she truly is, how much of a lunatic Joy Behar actually is, whether it's on live television, whether it's on radio or podcasts or just behind the scenes. She is unhinged, and she really has no clue what the real world is truly like. I don't think that there really is anything like that going on a massive grand scale, where you have all of these men that are so frightened of women and female representation, whether, like I said before, whether it's an actual movie or an actual TV series, anything like that, as long as it's organically written in the process, people don't have a problem with that at all. It has nothing to do with female representation or women. I don't even think that there's a grand scale stigma like that. I mean, have they not seen a lot of recent movies and or television shows that actually did that successfully, by the way? Female leads being in multiple movies and TV shows across the board in the past, several years. It seems like she's just trying to lie to the general public, trying to blow off steam just because of what happened with HBO. But overall, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.